Good morning, virtual villagers. I'm Kate from What Kate Made. Um, Good morning to you all, and happy St Patrick's Day to anybody who's watching from Ireland. You will notice I'm wearing my little shamrock that was made for me by my Irish friend, and told me to wear it today. So what we're going to make today is we are going to make a little Mother's Day gift for any mothers who love sewing, and we are going to make it in a teapot. Now, this is the one I made earlier. So I'm just going to point the camera down a little bit so you can see what's in it. Let me just move you back a little bit. So this is our teapot. This is like a Brown Betty teapot. I always call this sort of one. So inside this is our little sewing kit. We don't actually have to do anything much to the teapot itself, and everything can be done without sewing if you're not a sewer yourself. So inside the lid, we've got a little pin cushion, and with our pins and needles in it, and that just, when you want to pop it away, that just pops back inside. So it just looks like your teapot. So that's your pin cushion. And also in here we've got various sewing tools. The other thing we're actually going to make today, if I can get it in without getting my hands stuck in it, is a needle case. So this is our needle case. Along the top here we've got some, these are quilters clips. They're quite good for holding your fabric together when you're cutting it out instead of pins. So this is our little needle case. It's a nice contrasting but same colour fabric to our pin cushion, with a nice bit of ribbon, a little button embellishment. It's fastened with Velcro, so that's easy to do. And inside it's lined with felt, and you can see you can put your needles in it. So that's another nice, easy, virtually no sew item. And then after that, they're just bits and pieces that might be useful for your sewing. So I've got a bonny little needle threader, which I need all the time now because I can't see. Let me just get everything else out. We've got a thimble, a tape measure, and we've got needles and pins. We've got these lovely cute little button pins with button tops on, and our needles in there. So that's everything. Oh, there's also a pair of scissors. Now, unfortunately, I got scissors without measuring my teapot. So these are embroidery scissors, but they're a bit long to go in my teapot. And I tried every which way to get them in the teapot, but they won't fit. So what I'm going to show you how to make is a little, we call them a scissors fob. You tie something on with an embellishment, so it's easy to find your scissors. So that's everything that's going to go in our little teapot. Now I'll show you what else you need. So apart from all your little bits and pieces to go in your teapot, I'll just pop all them back in. You need obviously fabric. I've got so the teapot I'm going to use today is this one. This is much more of a sort of vintage style teapot. I picked this up at a charity shop for just a few pounds, but it's really pretty. So that's the teapot we're going to use. The fabric I'm using today, I chose this nice pretty rose fabric because I thought it would go well with the flowers and the teapot. So you will also need, apart from that piece of fabric, you will also need, for your needle case, I've already cut these out because I thought it would be easier, quicker. So there's another piece of the fabric, and there's also the felt, and there's a piece of iron-on Bondaweb, which we're going to use instead of sewing. You'll also need a bit of ribbon for your needle case. I just got everything in little pots so I didn't lose it. I've got buttons for my needle case. I've also got some beads for my scissors fob. Pop them there. You'll need needle. Oh, I've just got glue all over my threads. You'll need needle and thread, scissors, glue. I've also got a small iron because the Bondaweb is iron on. I think that's everything. I think we could get started. Oh yeah, and I've got my gel pens that I use for drawing on the fabric. So without much further ado, one last thing, stuffing for your sleeping cushion. Forgot that. Right, so we'll get started. Right, now, just depending on the size of your lid, you want a circle that is about an inch bigger in diameter than the center of your lid. And I always keep various templates. So that one is probably, actually, to be on the safe side, I might make it a little bit bigger. This one's a 5-inch diameter circle. I keep these templates because it's just really handy to have them. So what we're going to do is draw around our template. So we want a nice circle for our pincushion in the lid. So I'm just going to draw around that. So all the pincushion consists of is the circle of fabric and the stuffing. So I'm going to cut out the circle. It's very, very simple. I'm trying desperately to get the live feed up so that I can see comments. I always struggle with this at the moment. So if you are out there, give us a wave, say hello, tell us what you're up to. So there is our circle of fabric. Okay, just bear with me a second. I can get you up live now. Right, so that's our circle, and what we do is we stitch around the circle just in a running stitch, just to gather it. So I've got my needle and thread with a knot in the end, and I'm going to just start gathering around the edge. So all about 1/2 centimetre in from the edge. You don't want to be too close to the edge that it runs, you know, it comes out, but you don't want to be too far away that your pincushion ends up too small. So you just run your gather stitch around. Hi Irene. Irene always tries to watch me when I'm on, so anybody else out there, let us know what you're doing. Nearly round. So I did say it before, it was no sew, but what sewing there is very simple. Now I was just saying before we came on air, I think this is something my mum would like. So as a Mother's Day gift, I thought that's a good idea. We'll do that. So just simply pull your gathers to make like a little bag out of your fabric, and then you take your stuffing and you want to stuff it really firmly. You might need to open it up a little bit more to get the stuffing in. So I'm going to try and cram all of that in if I can, because we need it to be quite nice and firm. And pull your gathers, making sure that your stuffing's all inside. I'm just going to say hello to Julie, who says it's her first time watching. Welcome along, Julie. I hope you enjoy this. So keep pushing, pulling and pushing, and that's giving you a nice little firm cushion. So I'm now going to just do a few little stitches to anchor that. Stop it coming undone inside the teapot. And one last one. And we'll just trim that end. Put my needle back in case I need it later. So I'm just going to just tuck in the last few little bits. So it looks like a little mob cap, really. Nice and firm. And then you just take your lid, and this is where we use our glue. So My glue's all melted. I'm using hot glue just because it is quicker on these demonstrations. It doesn't have, oops, now it's, there we go. I always end up burning myself as well when I'm doing this. Now, I would say put the glue, what we're going to do now is glue our pincushion in there. So, I mean, it fits quite firmly, but it's not going to stay in there. So that's what we use the glue for. So we're going to put glue, hot glue, whatever glue you're using, all around the edge of our lid. And then I'm going to pop the pincushion back in. Make sure it sits nice and firmly. And then most important thing, check it'll go back in your teapot. And it will. So that's good. So that's the pincushion. That's very, very, very easy and simple. I've got in my box here somewhere. What have I done? Oh, here they are. Pins. So these are the pins I got. They're quite cute. They're little, they're shaped like little buttons. I thought these were lovely. So you just you'll pop several pins in, ready for your sewing day. And one. So that's the pincushion element. That's it. Very quick, very simple. Now, I want to just show you something else. If you don't want to go as far as having the whole teapot, you can just do it in a cup. Now, I've had this for ages. This sits on my my workstation next to my sewing machine, and it's great. It's a china teacup. I don't know whether you can see the design. Got a lovely little flower on it. There's also the saucer there. Now the saucer's got a little stick-on magnet in the bottom for sticking your pins to. So you can use your pin cushion, and you can also drop things into the saucer. So that's my little workstation that I use all the time. So you can make that as a simpler version if you don't want to go the whole hog with the teapot. Right, so back to our teapot. The next thing I'm going to show you is the needle case. So where did I put the other one? Put it back in the teapot. I can see how to show you. So this is the second thing we're going to make for our teapot. Okay, so a nice little needle case, nice fabric on the outside, bit of ribbon, a nice button. And as I said before, it's fastened with Velcro, so that makes it very easy. Now I have stitched this down the seam here and stitch on the ribbon using a sewing machine, but you don't have to do that. Today we're just going to glue everything together. So our needle case, for mine, the fabric, I've already cut out my fabric because it was quicker. The dimensions of it are 7 inches by 4 inches, so 7 inches that way and 4 inches that way, and you cut all your 3 pieces the same size. So here I have got my fabric layer, my felt layer, and this is the Bondeweb. Now this is it's like a glue matrix, and it's on a paper backing. I buy mine in rolls like this, great big rolls, but you don't have to because I use quite a lot of it. You could buy it, it comes in sheets as well. You can get it anywhere from any haberdashery shop. What it does is it bonds 2 layers of fabric together. It has the effect of not only bonding them together, but it also, sorry, I'm being distracted by my dog arriving. But it also, what was I saying? Yeah, stops it fraying. So the felt won't fray, but the fabric might. So the way we attach these together is we iron it. Now I'm just going to pop this towel on my work surface so that I don't damage it with the iron. Now I'm introducing you now to my new toy that I bought myself recently, a little craft iron. It's ideal. It's got a bit of glue on it from when I was practicing, but I bought this myself, and it's maybe sort of thing quilters use, but it's really handy just to have it to do little bits of things like this and for opening seams and things like that. So that's my little craft iron. That was my treat for my birthday. So what we do is you lay your fabric right side down, and then you put your Bondo web over it, and then you just take your iron and you just iron it. So try and get them lined up as closely as possible, and then you just, now make sure you put your Bondo web glue side down. I should have said that, paper side up, because otherwise you'll end up with glue all over your iron. And you just keep ironing until we're sure they're securely bonded together. And then you peel off the paper backing. Now, sometimes if it's overlapped slightly, it will stick to your towel a little bit. But now this is the tricky bit. This is getting the paper off, and sometimes I have to resort to a pin. In fact, I'm going to go straight to the pin. And if you can get the pin just under the surface of the paper, quite close to the edge, you can usually, I'm saying that, should never say these things, I just jinx myself. You can quite often just ease the paper away. Nope, it's not going to do it. Right, let me try it at an edge. Sorry about this, folks. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. There's a little bit hanging over the edge there. It might be easier if I have a straight edge. So we just want to ease off the paper backing and expose the glue left behind. If anybody knows a better way of doing this, please let me know. I always struggle with things like double-sided glue peeling off the backing, partly because my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. Right, just talk among yourselves. Oh, even my pen doesn't want to go through it. Sorry about this, folks. I think I've done it. The trick is to get the paper backing off without pulling the glue off again. And it's just getting an edge up. Thought I had it then. Right, just bear with me. There we go. My hands are a bit cold this morning as well, so that's not helping. And I think I've got it. Oh dear. And I'm all fingers and thumbs. There we go. So hopefully, yeah, we're peeling. I don't know whether you can see that, but you can see the shiny matrix of the glue now on the fabric. So that's our fabric with our glue on. So what we're going to do next is we're going to place our fabric on top of our felt. As you can see, I've cut the edges with pinking shears, which gives us this nice zigzaggy edge. It just makes it look a bit nicer. So, and then you just iron the fabric, and it will stick it to the felt. And voila, the two layers are together. Now I'm just going to give it a little trim to square it up. I can take my towel off now because it's got a bit, they're not quite square. So I'm just going to trim this edge just to get it a little bit square. And so we haven't got any overlap. So that's your basic needle case done. I mean, it's that simple. The Bondo web is great. You can use it for applique. You can use it for taking up hems. In fact, you've probably seen it in strips. I think they call it Wonder Web in a strip. For this kind of thing. Now, as I said with mine, I use my sewing machine and I sort of align down my book like a strip of, like a centre spine. Just helps it fold over. And on the other side, I sewed the ribbon on with my machine. And what that does is it gives you a little, on the inside on the felt, it gives you like a little ridge in the center, which is ideal for popping your needles through. I'm not going to do that today because I'm aware that not everybody has a sewing machine. So if you're a neat sewer, you could do it by hand. If not, it's not necessary to do it at all, really. So as we're not going to sew today, I'm just going to fold my book in half. And I'm just going to press it so that I've got an edge. Thought I wasn't going to use it. Just to give it a proper fold. Okay. And that's it. I should be finished with the iron now, so I'll switch that off. So that's our center line there. So what the next thing is our contrasting ribbon. Also the Velcro and the buttons are all going to be glued on, just to make it easier. So I'll get them out. So this is the ribbon I'm going to use. So it's a nice gross grain ribbon, little white trim, matches the colours pretty well. You're going to measure. I'm going to let it overlap a little bit so that I've got plenty. Measure it along your and we're going to put it just across the middle like that. But what you want to do before you glue it is fold it, just because you want to be able to still fold it properly when and the ribbon will stretch a little bit. So it's always best to measure your ribbon on a fold. Oops, my glue's getting a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this on. So I'm just going to put a light line of glue along the ribbon on one side and fold it across. And then I'm going to take it underneath as well, just so we've got a nice neat edge. And I'm going to fold it back up so that we get that extra bit, so that it's not tight when it's folded. And then again a line of glue, and we will trying to grab it without burning myself. I'm very good at burning myself on glue. And then just tuck the end in as well. So that's our ribbon trim. Very, very, very easy. Right, so now we know where we're going to, because of the where our ribbon's gone, that is where we want our Velcro to go. So I've just cut 2 little squares of Velcro, one of each side. Very, very, so about that big. Oh, where are you? There. I'm just going to trim that a little bit because it's got a little bit of a point. I'm going to trim it a little bit so it's square. So that one's going to go there. And that one is going to go there. So very quickly we just put a dab of glue and put our Velcro covering the end of that ribbon. And then our book will close up. I'll not do it just yet because if I close it and the glue isn't set, then it'll just pull the Velcro off. So next thing is the buttons. Now these are the buttons I'm using. Oops, can you see? They've got tiny little, they've got a little pink edge. So I'm just going to pop them one on either end. They're not, they're just decorative. They're not functional. So we don't worry too much about sewing them on or having a buttonhole. Just one on each side. And that is your needle case finished. How quick and easy was that? It's got lots of strands of glue. Fasten it shut. And voila. Now you could also put a little ribbon loop on it if you wanted to, so that it was you could hang it if the person who's receiving it wants to hang it. And we'll pop some. Where's my needles? I had a little thing with needles and I don't know what I've done with it now. Never mind, I'll pinch some out of my my pincushion. So your needles go in there. All my needles these days have got big eyes because I can't see to thread the really narrow ones. I do have some really narrow ones, but I very rarely use them. So we'll put needles in one side and we'll put a few pins in the other. We'll put some of these little pearl-headed pins, little dressmaker pins. The other ones with the buttons are slightly longer, and we use I would use them for quilting. There we go. So that is our nice little needle case. So that can go with our pin cushion for later. So the next thing I want to show you is the scissors keeper, the scissors fob. So as I say, I bought these lovely little scissors, thinking, oh, they were in a pack with several different ones. That'll be handy. And of course, they don't fit in my teapot. They're too long. So I'm going to fashion a little fob for them so that you can either hang them, you could hang them over the spout or something very similar. So I've got my scissors. I've also got this a length of this nice, this is like a suede cord, so I'm going to use that. And I've also got a couple of beads here that I'm going to thread onto it. So the simple idea is that you fold it in half, make a loop, pass the loop through the circle bit of your scissors handle, I suppose it is, isn't it? And then pull that, so that's a nice knot. It's nicely knotted, so it's not going to come off. And then this is the tricky bit. We'll see if these beads, I'm not sure whether I can get all of this through. So I'm going to put one through. I think I can. And just check. Maybe not. These are little ceramic beads. They're quite good because they are they've got quite big holes. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I'm just trying to poke both ends of this suede cord through, but I'm not sure if it's going to go. It's quite thick. If you used maybe you could use crochet cotton or embroidery thread. Oh, it's going to go through. Or embroidery thread instead. That would be thinner and it would go through easier. There we go. I've got both cords through it. And what I'm going to do now is slide the bead right up to the end there, but I'm going to tie a knot in this end. And get it as close to the end as I possibly can. Pull it tight to make it smaller and then slide the bead back down. So now you've got a nice little, we can now that we've pulled it tight, we can just trim off these ends. So now you've got a nice little hanger on your scissors. So for instance, we can hang them over the edge like that. Sorry, the dog's barking now. I don't know why he's barking. Jan, come here. Come here. You might want to come and say hello. I'll see if he doesn't come down, I'll bring him over. So we've got our pin cushion and our needle case, our little teapot, our scissors, and they're all nicely matching or contrasting together. So what else were we going to put in it? So we've got our little tape measure. We've got our thimble. We've got our quilting clips and our needle threader. There's also some needles in here. That's why I couldn't find the needles before. So I'll pop these needles in the pin cushion. Now they're maybe not going to be. I'll put them in the needle case like we did earlier. Okay, so glue's come off there with the Velcro. Bear with me. So we'll pop our needle case in there as well. And our quilter's clips. And pop the top on. And hang our scissors. We can hang our scissors over there. And that's our little sewing kit in a teapot. Now, because I've got a bit of time left, I'm going to quickly show you how to make the teacup pin cushion as well. So I'm going to use, have I got enough fabric left to make another pin cushion? I think I have. So I'm going to make my pin cushion. Maybe I'll use a different, just bear with me a second, I'll look for a different fabric. I thought I had a different fabric somewhere. When I was looking at what I was going to use today from my stash of various things, I thought that fabric, that cup has got a nice gilding on it, and I thought that nice gilded fabric would go lovely with it. So let me just, I'll draw out my circle. It's the same size template. Actually, no, I'm going to use the bigger one just because the cup's bigger. This is a 6-inch diameter circle. Okay, and then we'll cut that out. Just cut it out as a square, and then I can get rid of this big piece of fabric while I trim it. Okay, so we'll cut out our circle. So we're just making this pin cushion bit in exactly the same way we made the other one. So we're going to cut the circle out and gather it. Now I might be short stuffing. Yeah, I'm gonna cheat and put something else in it. I wasn't really prepared for doing a second one. So just bear with me while I decide. Well, I'm going to decide which side of this fabric I like best, because one side's got more of a sheen than the other. We'll go with that side. Quickly gather. Now, when we do this, when I did mine, I discovered there was a few things that wouldn't quite sit in the pin cushion. One of which is my blunt-ended tapestry needle. That's what I use for sewing up woolen things. Because it's blunt, it wouldn't stick into the fabric. And so what I did to get round that, and same for keeping your scissors safe, is that I left a little gap at the edge when I glue it in, and that makes a place where you can pop your things that aren't sharp. So now, because I've not brought enough stuffing out, I'm just looking for something else to stuff it with. I will stuff it with for now a ball of wool. That might be too much. It is. Oh dear, very unprepared. Just bear with me a second. I've got this. This will do. This is a little crocheted ball. Now I'm going to ease the fabric over it. Try not to pull it all the way through. Where's my needle? There it is. This is proving a little bit difficult. There we go. Very tightly stuffed. And again, we just put a few little stitches to anchor it. And then you proceed more or less the same as before. So we take our teacup and we pop our little pincushion inside. So we're going to glue round, but we're going to leave a gap opposite the handle, just about a finger's width. I'm not going to glue that in now because I've not got the right stuffing in it. So that's your pincushion bit, and you leave your gap so that you can pop in your needle and your scissors, that, you know, to keep them all together. And the other thing we do is with the saucer, I've just got a little magnet. I used to have magnets on a strip that you could cut, that were soft, but I've only got these bigger ones at the moment. So I'm going to just glue that into the center. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a saucer that has like a dimple, this one doesn't, you can actually stick the magnet on the bottom, and then it will hold your pins in the tray through the magnet. So if you were doing work where you required a lot of pins, more than you could pop in your pincushion, you could just put them in the saucer and they will stick to the magnet. I'll show you what I mean. I've got a few pins on here. So pull all of those out and then they just stick to the magnet like that. It's amazing. It's ace. Really good. So we'll take them out for now. So they would be really handy when you're sewing. And this cup, because it's got quite a dimple underneath, will sit quite nicely on top of that magnet without moving. So if you pop your, where did I put my scissors? Just had them in my hand. You can pop your blunt-ended needles in and pop your scissors in around the outside, and then your needles and pins can go in the pincushion. And that is the little teacup version of it. So it's you can either make the whole thing. They look very attractive. They're lovely on your sewing station. A little hidden gem. Or you could just make it in the teacup. So I can see everybody's going to be spending their weekends scouring charity shops and junk shops for vintage china to make their own little teacup workstations. Now, as I said, I think this is something my mum might like, so she might be the recipient of that. Hope you've enjoyed this little demonstration. We do like to oh, Julie's telling me she's got a magnetic pin holder. It's a game changer. It's true, Julie, it is. It makes it so much easier. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you all have a go. If you make your own teapot sewing station, send us some pictures and let us see what yours look like. So this is me signing off now, and enjoy the rest of your day.